Thanks for joining us on the news this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. The former Super Eagles captain has been presented to the public as its new coach in Abuja 2 weeks after Stephen Keshi was sacked. Sandolise has been unveiled by the Nigeria Football Federation, replacing the sacked Stephen Keshi as Super Eagles coach. The 40-year-old was the overwhelming favorite to handle the role after the big boss was shown the exit by the Nigeria Football Federation. The United States government has delivered one of its strongest rebuke of Boko Haram in recent times. It says the brutality and barbarism of the group knows no bounds in view of the recent attacks by the insurgents on the countries in the West African region. The U.S. also condemned recent suicide bombings in Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and Nigeria. In a statement on Tuesday by the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, the U.S. Department of State spokesman John Kirby stated that the U.S. strongly condemns the horrific and indiscriminate suicide attacks on the Grand Mosque in the Chadian capital of N'Djamena on Saturday, as well as attacks in Cameroon, Niger, and Nigeria. The U.S. government, however, praised the security forces of the three countries for their timely responses to the attacks. Participants at the opening of a 3-day security workshop in Abuja are pushing for a stronger interagency cooperation to better tackle the security challenges in the country. They insist that a multi-pronged mechanism will achieve the required level of peace and security, especially in northeastern Nigeria. The workshop on crisis management and peace building holding in Abuja is organized by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in conjunction with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Our correspondent Basil Kafo has more in this report.
This is the third edition of a collaboration that started in 2013. It is aimed at improving interagency collaboration among security agencies, humanitarian workers, and other stakeholders. Operatives at the session agree on the need for a robust framework to counter the rising trend of terrorism in the country.
It is also hoped that the deliberations at this conference will bring a lasting change to institutional cultures that inhibit prompt attainment of the broader objectives of our national security. Furthermore, I am convinced that the outcome of the conference will inject fresh perspectives and strengthen the capacity of security agencies and other relevant stakeholders to collaborate seamlessly in the management of crises and other security issues and dynamics.
Interagency cooperation and collaboration has become very necessary to overcome the challenges and threats to internal security in the country, as no agency can claim to be able to do it all.
Others maintain that the necessary building blocks for peace must be encouraged to thrive, as well as focus on post-conflict management.
We should focus on synergy in a post-conflict scenario, such as we are beginning to face in the Northeast. Because what we find out is that we have seen that there is a lot to be done in the way we are engaging the Northeast in the aftermath of the Boko Haram crisis.
Organizers of the forum are optimistic that the gains of the workshop will include a positive end to insurgency soon.
A clearer understanding is taking place. That is why we have all come together to discuss the way out. And I believe it is not going to be a pure academic event. All of us are going to brainstorm together on how better to handle the situation in the country. And before the end of this year, surely we are going to see positive changes in the insurgency activities in this country.
With the enormous task of curbing insurgency and terrorism in the country, participants are of the view that intelligence building and timely application of such information is central to achieving lasting peace and safety. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari gave an assurance on Tuesday in Abuja that his administration will honor all international trade agreements that would directly improve the living conditions of Nigerians. Speaking at an audience with the outgoing ambassador of Turkey to Nigeria, Mustafa Pulat, President Buhari said that under his leadership, the federal government will give special attention to the implementation of such agreements, especially in the provision of infrastructure, good education, and job opportunities. Commending the ambassador's efforts to expand areas of bilateral cooperation between Nigeria and Turkey, President Buhari applauded the growth of trade between both countries in recent years. Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara says the leadership tussles in the All Progressives Congress caucus of the House was almost over. Dogara, who spoke while addressing some APC youths under the aegis of the APC Youth Mobilizers and Professionals who visited the National Assembly, said he would announce the principal officers of the House on July 21. He said there had been a series of meetings to resolve the crisis in the party and that there were positive signs that the crisis were nearing its end. However, Dogara did not specify whether the names to be announced on July 21 will be the same as those recommended by the leadership of the APC, or he would stick to his position that each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country should have 1 seat. And President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday held a meeting with more permanent secretaries in continuation of his interaction with the administrative heads of ministries. The series of meetings are targeted at getting more information on the state of affairs in government establishment. The permanent secretaries gave an insight into their session with the president in an interview with State House correspondents. Meanwhile, the federal government has declared Friday, July 17 and Monday, July 20, 2015 as public holidays to mark the end of Ramadan, known as Eid al-Fitr. The permanent secretary, Minister of Interior, Abubakar Magaji, who made the declaration on Tuesday in Abuja, enjoined all Muslim faithful and Nigerians in general to extend the spiritual benefits of Ramadan, which include love, peace, and sacrifice for the development of the nation. He also urged Nigerians to support the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in its determination and sustained efforts towards building a greater, peaceful, united, and virile nation. Senate President Bukola Saraki has moved to doubt the controversy generated by his tweet on the confirmation of newly appointed service chiefs. He had, in response to inquiries on the Senate confirmation, erroneously noted that only ministers and heads of parastatals are required to be confirmed by senators. But the Senate President has now denied, saying that the Senate does not need to screen or confirm the new service chiefs. He said through his Chief Press Secretary, Sani Onogu, that he was only responding to inquiries on whether the Senate was consulted before the appointment was announced. Saraki's media aide claimed in a statement that his principal had in response tweeted that the appointment of service chiefs is exclusive function of the president as stipulated by the Constitution. He added that the comment is now being misinterpreted to say the Senate will neither screen nor confirm the new service chiefs. The CPS also drew attention to a new tweet by the Senate President where he indicated that the earlier position was not up to date and does not represent the position of the Senate President on the issue of screening of the newly appointed service chiefs. We'll take our first break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, we don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can get all of the top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG, and we're streaming live on YouTube. youtube.com/CoreTV, Live Space and News. A federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, on self-recognition after several days in prison. It also granted bail to his two sons, Aminu and Mustafa, in the sum of 25 million naira each, before setting a September 28 trial date. In his ruling, Justice Gabriel Kolawole held that the prosecution counsel, Chile Okoroma, did not provide enough reasons that the accused persons would evade justice if granted bail. Defense counsel Joe Agie had for his part insisted that his client won't jump bail.
We are satisfied with the conditions granted. Well, we wait for the trial in Kano. We are prepared to face the prosecution whenever they are ready. They are stringent, but we are going to meet them because we have a civil servant here, we have people with properties here, ready and willing to take them on bail.
Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State has banned the washing of cars on tarred roads. The governor said detergents used by car washers have damaging effect on coal tars. Ikpeazu, who announced the ban on Monday while inspecting road projects in Aba and Umaya, said his administration would roll out new policies on the maintenance of public facilities in the state. He expressed sadness over the activities of car washers on roads and called on residents to imbibe a maintenance culture that would help safeguard public facilities in the state. Meanwhile, Ikpeazu has given contractors a 50-day ultimatum to complete road projects, while assuring residents of the state that at least 80% of the job would be completed before his first 100 days in office. In all, 21 road projects have been awarded in different parts of the state, and many more are being awaited. The Holy Land of Makkah on Tuesday observed Lailatul Qadr, the Night of Majesty. Muslim faithful around the globe look out for this night and the last 10 days of Ramadan. The significance of this month is to ask for forgiveness from the Almighty and cleansing of the soul. Correspondent Olajide Adediro was at the Haram, the worship center of Makkah. His report.
The Holy Land of Makkah on Monday evening witnessed massive influx of people from all walks of life who have come to share from the glory of the last third night of Ramadan, Lailatul Qadr, the Night of Majesty. At the Kaaba, all creatures irrespective of status are reduced to commoners. They all move around the Kaaba in their white Ihram attire. At about 12 a.m. Tuesday morning, Al-Haram, the worship center of Makkah, was already full to the brim. The last third night of Ramadan is when Allah descends to the lowest heaven to echo the calls of all who believes and genuinely call on Him. It is called Lailatul Qadr, the Night of Majesty. Olajide Adediro, CoreTV News, Makkah, Saudi Arabia.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned Oladimeji Edun, a former member, Kwara State House of Assembly, alongside his company Zarab Ventures Limited before Justice Mahmoud Abdul Ghaffar of Kwara State High Court in Ilorin on a 3-count charge bordering on criminal diversion of funds. Edun allegedly secured a contract for his company Zarab Ventures Limited for drilling of 43 motorized boreholes across different locations in the state under the Millennium Development Goals project to the tune of 82,500,000 naira between 2008 and 2009, but abandoned the project after collecting 90% of the contract sum. The accused pleaded not guilty to the charge when it was read to him. His counsel Salman Jawondo thereafter urged the court to admit the accused person to bail. EFCC Abdullahi Farouk raised no objection, but pushed for stiff bail conditions considering the nature of the offense committed by the accused persons. And a few days after the street beggars in Kano State have threatened a protest over a recent ban order, Governor Nasir El-Rufai has visited them at the rehabilitation center. But first, he promised to rehabilitate and, of course, bring again the rehabilitation center where they will be kept.
Children of destitute in Kaduna cheering and welcoming Governor Nasir El-Rufai to the rehabilitation center. Coming few days after the beggars are threatened a protest over his recent ban order, it was clear that the governor was in a visit to appease them. El-Rufai made promises of training to ensure they are engaged in ventures that are more productive than begging.
It's not just to say people are off the streets, but to train those that need to help themselves and to give them financial support, microcredit, to start some kind of small business so that they will be on their own. We don't want to see beggars on the street of Kaduna, but we don't want to have beggars off the streets without an option. So we're working on the option. The initial knee-jerk strategy was to repatriate the beggars back to their home states. I have put a stop to that. Everyone that comes to Kaduna is a citizen of this state. We should take care of him here. Sending them back to their states is not solving the problem. We will solve the problem here in Kaduna. We overriding need to secure the lives and properties of the 8 million people that live in Kaduna state is superior to that of those that think they have the right to beg. Begging is not a profession. Begging is humiliation. We don't believe in it. We want to empower our people so that they don't beg.
For many of them, seeing the governor in their midst is enough to make them happy. They are happier that he made promises to rehabilitate them in the aftermath of the ban on the street begging. Christopher is one of the beggars that is willing to take up the government's offer. It will be recalled that the beggars had earlier protested on Saturday over the ban order. They had argued that the ban was the governor's subtle way of tagging them terrorists. Hence, they need to take legal action against him and the state government for defamation.
Meanwhile, more than 100 deaf and dumb persons in the protest in Benin City are calling on Edo State government, stakeholders and well-meaning personalities to stop the marginalization in the areas of employment and empowerment. The aggrieved persons in the peaceful protest at the Secretariat of the Nigerian Union of Journalists appeals for more teachers and learning materials that will make them useful citizens in the state. Our Edo correspondent filed in this report.
The aggrieved persons with disability, flanked by few friends and parents holding placards of various inscriptions, lamented their worsening situation following the sack of Edo Yes workers, however, called on Governor Adams Oshiomhole to intervene as they cannot hide in silence. An interpreter, Godwin Aye Cynthia, however, assisted to communicate their grouse.
They are trying to break out of the silence, to cry out and also to lay their complaint so that members of the general public will be aware that they are here with the NUJ press secretariat because they know that the pen is more powerful than the sword, that they want to appeal to you to please use your pen to carry out their complaint to the general public and the governor and to all concerned to please employ them and also empower them.
Meanwhile, the state NUJ chairman, Desmond Agbabama, assured them that their complaints will get to the appropriate quarters, while he appealed that they should go about their peaceful protests.
And that we are very passionate about it. And our heart is very heavy over their state. And that as the mouthpiece of the voiceless, the NUJ, we carry their message to the appropriate quarter through radio, television. As they have come here, NUJ is voice for the voiceless.
The group later left the NUJ Council Secretariat to Government House Benin to further press home their demands.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode on Tuesday paid an unscheduled visit to the Kotun-Ejigbo Road, assuring the residents that work on the road will commence within the next 1 week. Governor Ambode, who described the state of the road as unacceptable, assured residents who trooped out to hear from him that the road will get a facelift very soon. He said the road was too strategic as it serves as a major link road connecting several local governments. Hence, it could not be left at the state, which it was. The governor therefore directed the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Works, Paul Bangboy Martins, and the general manager, Lagos State Public Works Corporation, Ayotunde Sodende, to move immediately to the area to commence work within the next 48 hours. He also appealed to residents for understanding when the construction commences, saying that the State Public Works will be mobilized to provide palliative measure to ease the traffic gridlock often experienced by motorists plying the road on a daily basis due to the condition of the road. And as part of efforts geared at ensuring maximum security in Imo State, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps State Command has apprehended fleet vandals. The Deputy Governor, Eze Madumere, who acted promptly on behalf of Governor Rochas Okorocha, visited the command on hearing the development. Our Imo State correspondent, Ajibade Ofeso, has details in this report.
As part of effort geared at ensuring maximum security in Imo State, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps State Command has apprehended fleet vandals. The Deputy Governor, Eze Madumere, who acted promptly on behalf of Governor Rochas Okorocha, visited the command on hearing the development. Receiving the Deputy Governor, the Commandant Pedro Awili Ideba introduced him to heads of the command while speaking on various achievements of the command.
This is what they are doing. The criminal has devised a sophisticated method of defrauding the people of this great state, and we say no, it cannot happen.
Some criminals pretending to load their vehicles with sand were also apprehended to have been conveying crude oil suspected to be stolen from vandalized pipeline points. Ideba said this group was apprehended at Okigwe Road as they were about to park at Jonal Ventures filling station with the intent to offload the stolen crude oil.
We arrested this truck at Ikedu, and when they sighted us, the driver escaped, the owner escaped. They were able to arrest the driver, arrest the mechanic who came to service it. On motion, the driver allowed the car and turned out of the car on motion and escaped. They were arrested the mechanic, and we are going to get the owners and even the driver. This is it. It's carrying a full load of crude oil.
Meanwhile, EED cable vandalizers were also arrested and admitted to the crime while responding to the Deputy Governor.
So I dig it out.
So is it not a live wire?
So it's a live wire. No, that one is not a live wire. So after selling it, so
I don't know where he the first one he did.
Yes, was
the fish pond.
Fish pond.
He shared the money.
Of course, I brought the money.
The Deputy Governor in return thanked the NSCDC command and urged them to keep the good work up while assuring them maximum support of the Imo State government. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
In Kano State, police have paraded members of a notorious gang which has been terrorizing Gandu, Albasa, and Tukum Tower areas of the state. Police spokesman Musa Mogajia told the newsman that they were arrested over the murder of a 27-year-old student of the Federal College of Education in Kano. The police said the suspects, identified as members of the Yandaba gang, have since confessed to the crime.
A gang of notorious Ndabas, jointly from Gandung Albasa, Rang Agundi and Tukunta Katas areas, suddenly invaded into the classroom and attacked them with cutlasses, knives, gloves, and other dangerous weapons. Command commences investigation, which led to the arrest of 3 suspects who actively participated in the killing and rampage as follows. Number 1 is Ibrahim Azu alias Irodawa of Aguntu Kotas. The second suspect was Adam Abdullahi alias Kura of Tukuntawa Kotas. And the third was Muktari Hassan alias Gwari, mayor of Gandang Albasa Kotas.
We'll take another break and I'll be back with stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu of South Africa has been admitted to a Cape Town hospital on Tuesday for treatment for a persistent infection. The doctor, who is also Reverend Kadan Tutu, said the family hopes he will be able to return home in a day or two. Meanwhile, Desmond Tutu and his wife Leah, in celebration of their 60th wedding anniversary a few days ago, stood before the congregation at the Holy Cross Anglican Church in Orlando West, Soweto, at a ceremony conducted by their daughter Canon Tutu to renew their marriage vows. Worshippers giggled as she led her parents in the reaffirmation of the vows, first asking her father, "Dad, do you acknowledge Mom as your wedded wife?" Tutu replied, "I do." After asking her mother the same question, the couple read their vows. When it was all done, one of the country's favorite couples sealed their renewed vows with a kiss. When photographers asked them to kiss some more, Leah, who's 83 years, said, "We've been kissing for 60 years, people, and you still want us to do it again?" We'll bring you updates on the health of the Archbishop subsequently. A leader of the Afghan Taliban, Mullah Mohammed Omar, has backed peace talks with the Afghan government in a statement released to the media. A message marking the festival of Eid al-Fitr made no direct reference to the talks, but said Islam did not bar peaceful interaction with enemies. Afghan government officials last week met Taliban representatives in negotiations brokered by Pakistan. Pakistan last week hosted the first formal face-to-face negotiations between Taliban representatives and the Afghan government. The statement by Mullah Omar ends speculation that the reclusive Taliban leader had not authorized the latest talks. It will be recalled that NATO concluded its combat mission in Afghanistan last December, replacing it with a smaller deployment intended to train Afghan security forces till 2016. An electronic device has been found by investigators near a petrochemical plant in southern France, where 2 tanks caught fire after explosions on Tuesday. According to reports, a malicious act was already suspected by authorities because the 2 tanks were just 500 meters apart. Police sources told French media that they were analyzing an electronic device that could start a fire. Interior Minister Bernard Cazeneuve was said to have responded to the fires by warning regional officials to step up security at sensitive sites across France. Anti-terror officials in Paris were keeping a close eye on the investigation a week after explosives and detonators were stolen from a military site at Miramas, little more than 12 miles away. No one was hurt, and firefighters dealt with the petrol fire quickly, but took hours on Tuesday to bring the naphtha tank blaze under control. A German court has convicted a 94-year-old former guard at the Nazi death camp at Auschwitz of being an accessory to the murder of at least 300,000 Jews. Oscar Groening, known as the bookkeeper of Auschwitz, was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He was responsible for counting the belongings confiscated from prisoners and had admitted moral guilt. His lawyers said he did not facilitate genocide, but prosecutors argued that he had helped the camp run smoothly. Many observers have questioned whether Groening will ultimately be sent to jail given his advanced age. He is however expected to be one of the last Nazis to face a courtroom. Delivering the verdict, Judge Franz Kompisch said Groening had willingly taken a safe desk job in a system that was inhumane and all but unbearable for the human psyche. One of the survivors, Eva Cole, said she forgave Groening and tweeted a picture of herself shaking his hand. Vice Chairman of the NCC, Eugene Jua, confiscated truckloads of unregistered SIM cards in Abuja. And that's on our business news. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Eugene Jua, on Tuesday said the commission would henceforth fine any telecommunication operator the sum of 10 million naira for publishing advertisements or promotion without getting the necessary approvals from the commission. This would become part of NCC's regulations and guidelines for all telecom operators. He said the draft enforcement regulation was an amendment of the previous regulations issued to the industry in 2015. However, he said operators would now be required to submit the advertisement copies for approval 14 days before publication or rollout in the media. The management of Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) yesterday said the nation has achieved a new electricity transmission peak of 4,545 megawatts through its national network. In a statement endorsed by its General Manager, Public Affairs, Seun Olagunju, the feat was achieved at 21.45 hours 2 days ago. The previous power transmission peak of 4,517 megawatts was attained on December 23, 2012. TCN management informed the general public that the electricity wheeling to the distribution companies has improved to over 4,000 megawatt due to improvement in full supply to the power generation plants. TCN assured that it will continue to work towards enhancing its power wheeling capability and reliability of the network to be able to deliver more quality electricity from the generation plants to the discos nationwide. Meanwhile, the federal government has signed a one-year extension of its current management contract for the TCN with the Manitoba Hydro International of Canada. The extension follows a 3-year management contract signed in 2012 to manage TCN's electric power transmission, system operation and market operation undertakings, as well as training TCN personnel. And that wraps it this hour on CoreTV News. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more. I'm Anthony.